The series kicks off in a rural area, honing in on a house with dilapidated walls and shattered windows. A group of henchmen are making their way towards the house across a wheat field, while a sniper inside a van adjusts his gun, taking aim at the house. He fires at the broken door, narrowly missing a young girl inside. The bullet hits a family picture on the wall, shattering its glass. An injured woman sits on one side of the room, with an unconscious man lying on the floor. The girl, Jong, spots a gun on the floor and tries to reach it, but the sniper's shot causes it to slide under the couch. Startled by the gunfire in the distance, Jong steps back, closes her eyes, and tells herself to focus. A flashback reveals Jong and her uncle G-Man watching an action movie, where Jong criticizes how the main character always manages to dodge bullets. G-Man explains that everyone has blind spots, and the protagonist exploits them to navigate safely. Returning from her flashback, Jong has an idea. She attaches a mirror to a broom to check the sniper's position and blind spot. The unconscious man also regains consciousness, while the woman nervously watches Jong's actions. After several attempts, Jong discovers the blind spot above the door. She jumps onto a fridge, prepares to leap behind a sofa, and dodges the sniper's shot. Landing under the couch, she tries to retrieve the handgun, but uncovers a larger gun hidden beneath. Now it's the sniper's turn to flee. The scene shifts to the past, where Jong is at a police station. A man accuses her of assaulting him, but CCTV footage reveals that he followed a woman into a female restroom, prompting Jong to intervene. Despite the man's inappropriate behavior, the police inform Jong that she cannot take matters into her own hands. Jong calls her uncle to pick her up. Jong is left speechless when a policeman informs her of her uncle's passing. On the way to her uncle's house, she remembers G-Man installing security bars and a bulletproof closet in her apartment. Despite initially finding it excessive, she recalls a funny moment with G-Man about the closet. She also shares a story about a store owner who underpaid her and ended up in a car accident. G-Man takes a photo of her university card before unexpectedly passing away. The taxi driver reveals he was a school friend of G-Man and leaves his card with Jong. At the morgue, she confirms her uncle's identity and sees a cut on his neck. The case is concluded to be a suicide. Jong is puzzled by the unusual method of suicide. While his body is being pushed back, she spots a tattoo on his leg that reads, "Mirthil Help." When she reaches her uncle's house, she meets a young boy named B. Jong-min. They knew each other when they were kids. Jong-min assists her in creating a picture of her uncle for the funeral. He is a computer science student and was working part-time for G-Man in IT things. Jong-min was the last person to speak to him. At G-Man's funeral, more of his old friends arrive with the taxi driver. Jong receives a bouquet from Lee Yong-han and notices quiet twin brothers. Outside, a mysterious figure smokes and says goodbye to G-Man. Jong-min finds a hidden phone in G-Man's bathroom. During the funeral, friends discuss rumors about G-Man's failing hose business and speculate about his involvement in illegal activities. The drunk taxi driver reveals how G-Man saved them all from their father's gambling debts. This shocks the others. At the cemetery, G-Man is cremated. Jong admits her disgust at her uncle's death and breaks down. Jong-min comforts her and gives her the old phone he found. It receives a text revealing a payment of 70 million and a bank balance of 18.7 billion. Jong-min shows Jeong the revamped website for G-Man's hose business, but they suspect it's a front. They discover a dark web website called Mirth Help, selling weapons. A message arrives on the website from the person. When Jeong informs the person that the shop is closed, they suddenly realize that G-Man is dead. In a panic, they declare that they are coming for Jeong instead. Jong-min acts quickly and closes the webpage, suggesting that they should call the police. Just as they are about to do so, the doorbell rings. Jeong answers the intercom and speaks to a woman named So Min-hai, who claims to be G-Man's Chinese tutor. To their surprise, the woman has weapons in her bag. Meanwhile, Jong receives a text on her phone, warning her not to let someone else take her life, as that person intends to kill her personally. At the same time, Min-hai has made her way from the gate to the front door and is determined to get inside. Suddenly, several drones appear, flying towards G-Man's house. The scene then shifts to a childhood memory of Jong when she was 7 years old. She and her family are having dinner with G-Man, who has reappeared after an 8-year absence. He introduces himself to Jong as her uncle, and the two share a warm smile. Now, in the present scene, Min-hai is driving up to G-Man's house and sending drones towards it. Then, we see her pointing a gun at the house. The scene then shifts to Jong's grandmother's funeral in the past, when Jong was still very young. G-Man thinks there's something suspicious about her death, but Jeong's father says she was sick for a few years. Because G-Man was absent for 8 years, he didn't know about it, and Jong's dad is angry at his brother. Jong's mother doesn't want them to fight, so when she sees Jong accidentally drop the rice dish, she asks G-Man to take her and go home while they handle everything else. After they leave, a man arrives at the funeral and talks to Jong's parents. He introduces himself as G-Man's friend and offers his condolences. However, there is something eerie about him. Back at home, Jong can't sleep and asks G-Man about death. They are watching a nature documentary where hyenas attack a lion. G-Man tells Jong that death isn't something to be afraid of. Only the weak bark while the strong stay quiet. Suddenly, G-Man receives a call on his secret phone and tells Jong that he has to go back to the funeral hall. She will be home alone and G-Man's friend will come to get her. However, she should only open the door if he is able to solve a riddle. Jong chooses a riddle about a horse, saying he'll be right back. When he leaves, another man comes to Jong's door and tries to open it. She asks him the riddle, but he doesn't answer. Instead, he forcefully opens the lock and enters. Before he can do anything, someone pulls him out, and the door slams shut. Jong hears them fighting, and after a while, the other man comes in and shows her the correct answer to the riddle. He communicates by typing on his phone and reveals that he is her uncle's friend. As more people come up the stairs, he tells Jong to stay in her room. In the midst of the fight, she cracks the door open and sees the sniper, attacking her uncle's friend and cutting of his hand. The sniper and his colleague found Jong's room empty. They discovered she had escaped through the window and was hanging from a pole outside the building. Jong let herself fall onto some sofas and ran away as they reached out for her. They chased after her, but he got hit by a van, causing a crowd to gather and forcing the killers to give up. Jong woke up in a hospital where two policemen discussed her parents' murder and her missing uncle. She had a dream of a hyena with a ripped-off hand, then woke up to find one of the killers outside her room. He discovered she had escaped again. Jong hid in a drawer in the morgue alongside her mother's body. Just as the killer was about to find her, someone else entered and there was gunfire. Her uncle opened the drawer and rescued her. 1 month later, Jong and her uncle arrived at G-Man's house. Jong tripped and fell when entering, and G-Man told her he couldn't be a parent like her mother and father. Jong walked inside. G-Man worried about her dissociative memory loss and blamed himself. At school, G-Man learned Jong was being bullied for her inability to speak. Jong-min tries to intervene, but Jaeyoung was too shy to friend him. A boy lied and claimed Jong stabbed her mom because she cheated on him. She becomes furious and hurls a chair at him. The teacher simply states that she doesn't fit in with the others. One day after school, she walks home alone in the rain. G-Man approaches her on the road, but she refuses to get in. He follows her for a while and then drives away. After that, she falls ill. Over time, she learns to be more independent and starts communicating with the man through notes at school. G-Man informs the teacher that she will have to overcome her challenges on her own. One day, 3 boys lock her inside a storage room at school as night falls. She sees the man's severed hand being held by a hyena. As she desperately pounds on the locked door, she finally speaks and calls out her uncle's name. The man arrives and opens the door, and she finally releases all her pent-up emotions. She screams, asking him why he didn't come back as promised. He apologizes to her. At home, he cooks a pork belly barbecue, and they eat together. In the present, she stops Minhai from entering and tells her that her uncle won't be coming home. Minhai pulls out a gun and speaks in Mandarin, claiming that her uncle boasted about how pretty and smart Jong is and that she attends Ju University. Jong realizes that Minhai is lying and responds in Mandarin, stating that everything she said is false because her uncle would never say such things. Minhai simply laughs and leaves. Jong receives another text message from someone threatening to kill her. Jong-min then calls her inside and shows her that he has hacked into the website's operator's account. The website's rules state that authorized members need codes to purchase products. There are 4 codes. Code red for killers, purple for spies, yellow for the cleanup crew, and green, the last one. Those who receive codes must never attack the green code. If the green code is attacked, the others must risk their lives to protect the operator, who is Jong and the man. Jong is still in shock from all the information when suddenly an explosion rocks the house. They rush outside to find the outer wall completely destroyed by 2 attacking drones. Despite the rain of bullets on the house's glass windows, they remain intact. Jong grabs Jong's hand and attempts to escape through the back door, but a drone blocks their path. They retreat back inside and close the metal door. It dawns on them that the house is well equipped as the drones stop shooting bullets and start launching small black devices at the windows, causing them to shatter. Jong heads to her room while Jongmin hides in a bulletproof metal closet. A drone enters and targets them, but Jiyoung manages to take it down with a slingshot and a chair. The scene then shifts to a group of men by a fire, including Mr. Kim, who removes a chip from his arm, declaring he no longer needs the codes. Seong the sniper announces a bonus for whoever captures or kills the niece. They all pile into a van and head towards Jong's location.